Lifting. When we refer to lifting, we mean lifting with a crane. We mainly use 3 types of cranes on our sites: mobile cranes, franners, and vehicle loading cranes. But we also use mobile plant-like excavators to lift, and when they do, they are defined as a crane. As you know, lifting is high risk. Poor ground conditions, damaged equipment, high winds, and crane overload are some of the reasons cranes roll over and loads are dropped. Our risk standard aims to prevent these things happening. The best way to do this: eliminate the need for lifting. Given the work we do, this often isn't possible, and we need to rely on cranes to complete our works. And when we do, we need to ensure the following controls are in place. All members of a crane crew must hold the relevant high-risk work licence. Thorough planning is key to successful lifts, and we take the time to get it right. If you are using a crane on site, a Frasers pre-lift checklist will need to be completed. If the lift is complex, a completed lift plan will also be required. A load chart must be available in all cranes. The crane's rated capacity must never be exceeded. If in doubt, don't lift. Ground conditions must be assessed when planning lifts. A geotechnical assessment must be completed by a geotechnical engineer, where surface stability, load-bearing capacity, or disturbance of underground assets is unknown or identified as a risk. The crane must have sufficient pad size to allow for worst-case ground conditions, if fitted with outriggers. When setting up, the outriggers must be fully extended and physically protected against the risk of impact by appropriate barriers. During all crane operations, a physical exclusion zone needs to be in place to prevent people who aren't involved in the lift from entering the area. Nobody is to be under a load at any time. Picking up and placing a load must be well planned, and the load path kept clear at all times. To enter a crane operating area, make contact with the crane crew and take their instruction on whether it is okay to enter. Please don't disturb the crew during a lift. Positive communication between the crane crew is critical and must be maintained at all times. Communication may be visual, audible, or a combination of both. All lifting gear must be marked with the working load limit, or WLL, and inspected before every use. In addition, lifting gear must be tested and tagged at the required intervals. As a minimum, that is every 12 months for chains and every 3 months for soft slings. Before connecting to a lifting point, ensure that it has been engineer designed and inspected at the required intervals. Where wind speeds are greater than those recommended by the manufacturer, crane operations must be stopped. That's it. For more information on our risk standards, chat with the site supervisor or visit our website.